We in the box. So is the screen like stuck, or we just gonna get it in? Peace.
welcome to Two Brothaz An Idea.
Yo,
They call me Ferdinand, the bringer of balance, leader of many disciplines, and one of your hosts of Two Brothaz An Idea. And I'm here with that dude, Tetaun. He got that wisdom. What's going on, brother?
Okay, so I appreciate all the kind words and accolades, bro. This appreciates it. It's always great to have these conversations and talk about these kinds of things. But today, I think it's pretty dope because I have a good friend of mine. Go back, 20, maybe easy 20 plus years. And as we continue having these conversations, you go back to your branches, people that you've been connected to, people that helped you along the way, those that you may have helped. And we maintain relationships. And sometimes you circle back through that vine, man, and you hear these great, amazing stories. And so I wanted to have a conversation with Chef Jesse Seward. And of course, my co-host, man, it's always a blessing to be here. And so we're going to talk about this topic, the future of food and business, and celebrating melanated brothers and sisters who are doing some amazing things all over the world. So was that good enough? Was that straight?
That was amazing. I appreciate
cool.
it. Absolutely.
We got it in there.
Absolutely.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How y'all doing tonight, man?
So Jesse, I know this probably takes you by surprise. You know, we look back, there's photos of us going all the way back to 2000, 2001. And, you know, our career, we shared a military career together on board the USS Blue Ridge. We've seen some great times. Of course, my comrade sitting next to you also served in the United States Army. And so I wanted to sit around and have this barbershop, this chef talk about, again, the achievements, the success, the journey, how we go from one destination to another destination, the unexpected events that happen in our lives and how we cross these paths together, right? Okay. So I want to know about your career before the Navy. What was your ambitions, your aspirations? How did you go from Ohio, is that if we're correct, from Ohio to then serving in Sasebo, and then Tetaun walking into the ship sec office and turning around and you say, hey, I'm YN3 Jesse Seward.
Well, I mean, I started my first job. I got hired at a local steakhouse called Ponderosa. If some of you may or may not be familiar with, it's one of those old school restaurants, steak and buffet type of places.
Right.
I got hired there on my 16th birthday as a dishwasher. And I always had aspirations of cooking. My mother cooked, my grandmother cooked. That's just what they did. You know, we grew up watching, you know, Emerald, Paula Dean, Martha Stewart, you know what I'm saying? That was Julia Childs. That's what my mother did. She would get those recipes, go buy the stuff, and then make it. So she turned my sister and I's palate up at a young age, you know. So that was something I knew I
What does that mean? What does that mean?
That means, you know, we were introduced to different foods and cuisines at an early age that, you know, you may not be used to. You know what I mean? That was my thing. Like, that was our thing. Like, every year for my birthday, she would take me to hibachi. You know, that was what we did for my birthday every year up until I was about probably 12 or 13. We went to a Japanese hibachi steakhouse. You know, so my first job was at a steakhouse as a dishwasher. And then I believe one of the cooks either quit or got fired or whatever. And, you know, the kitchen manager was like, hey, Jess, you want to come up here and learn how to, you know, grill these steaks?
Right.
I'm like, absolutely, you know. So I jumped up there, and next thing you know, I was wearing a tie, and I was like Calvin from McDonald's, the manager. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was doing. And so I did that up until I joined the Navy.
So you come into the Navy
as an administrative exec because I come from a military family. I came from a Navy family. My grandfather was in the Navy. My uncle was in the Navy.
Okay.
So they told me, like, hey, I know you love to cook, but you might not want to go in as a cook. Because if you do, you might not come out as a cook.
They told you that?
Oh, they told me that. They're like,
Wow.
but you like to type and you like to do this. So you may want to look at going in as an administrative assistant, as a yeoman, because I was good with keyboards. I was good with, you know, just business administration. I was actually pursuing a business administration degree at the time. So that's how I ended up joining as a yeoman. You know what I'm saying? And my goal was to do 10 years, get out, go to culinary school. But I ended up doing 7 years, got out, and went to culinary school. And so that's how I ended up in Virginia, because my last duty station was Key West.
Okay, I remember that. Man.
Yeah.
Man, so I remember you talking about wanting to be a chef, and I think I don't know if we were on the Blue Ridge or not. And I kind of scuffed at it because I was like, man, what are you talking about? I ain't never seen you cook nothing. And you would laugh and this snicker, man. And so to look at what you're doing now in terms of what you have been able to start in Virginia Beach, man, it's absolutely amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing.
I appreciate that.
To observe the journey,
right,
from start to finish. You know,
it has been one. You know, because like I said, I got out, went to culinary school, Culinary Institute of Virginia. That was a 2-year program. And then I went and got in the field immediately. Like I actually got in the field because when I moved here from Key West, I actually was hired by a previous yeoman who was working for a real estate company, and they were looking for an administrative assistant. So when I first moved out here, that's what I did until I got into culinary school. And then I quit that job and started working at No Frill Grill in Hilltop.
Oh, okay.
I took that job at like $9-10 an hour, and I was making good money at the real estate company.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be in the field while I was in school, because I didn't want to graduate school and be green, which I wasn't green anyway because I had restaurant experience, but it's all about paperwork and
the business
tenure and the business part of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave this administrative job, jump in the field while I'm in school. So when I get out of school, I can, you know, be ahead of the game.
Right. So Ferdinand and I had some conversations about different types of food choices. I know you have your favorite menus, some of your starter menus, some menus of some great dishes that got you started, to some of the amazing dishes that are most popular. Can you name a few of your dishes? Or you have photos of them? You got anything you want to share? Where can we get to see it on your website?
Well, you can definitely see it on my website, which is posted www.travelingmgc.com. You can also check me out on the social media sites, Instagram and Facebook at Chef Jesse TMGC.
Good stuff.
Both of those as well. And I mean, as far as my favorite dish, I don't really put myself in that box or that bubble.
Okay.
But I can do it all. Like, of course, I have an Asian influence to some of my food because I lived overseas and abroad for quite some time. Love Asian cuisine, anything from the Far East. But, you know, being here in Virginia Beach by the water, of course, we're doing a lot of seafood. You know, my blackened salmon goes over very well. My cornbread crab cakes go over very well. As you can see here, this is a lobster bisque that's being shown on the video. You know, so we play with a lot of seafood around here because that's just where we're at. We're on the water. So I have to kind of, you know, appease the masses, right? You know, but if it was up to me, I would be, you know, because I've been trained in molecular gastronomy. So, you know, in the background here, I have plenty of chemicals. I can make foams, fears, faux caviars, you know. So I don't like to put myself in a box, you know, because we could do anything from backyard barbecue to a 7 to 11 course tasting menu.
Okay, what about a GMO diet, a non-gluten-free?
Gluten-free, have plenty of those clients. I do a lot of meal prep. I have clients with AC1, you know, keto, don't like this, don't like that, allergic to this, allergic to that. You know, it comes with the business, you know, and that's just, and you just have to, I don't have anything that I don't do.
Well, Ferdinand, you're hearing these food choices, this amazing food that you're listening to. I'm sure, Ferdinand, you got some questions. And I'm sure you got some vegan questions. I'm sure you got something.
Oh, he's vegan. Okay, so yeah, so like for example, you know, I do vegan crab cakes. I do vegan oxtails.
How you do that? How you do that?
Well, the vegan crab cakes, what I do, I like to take a little bit of nori, you know, because it has that taste of the sea, obviously. Okay. I use hearts of palm. I use artichoke. Okay. And you know, the same season that you would for a crab cake, but those are our fillers. You know, the artichoke and the hearts of palm, the textures of those come across somewhat like a crab cake or like crab meat when it's pulled. So we shred it, you know. And then, you know, like with the oxtails, it's, you know, it's they're not oxtails, but it's a mimic of it. You know, we take that white carrot, that'll be the bone, right in the middle. And then we take beans, black beans, and, you know, some other things, put them together, formulate them, put them in a, you know, form it up. And then
what do you think you could do with lion's mane mushroom?
Oh, I love lion's mane mushrooms. I love hen of the woods mushrooms. Mushrooms are a beautiful thing, especially for a vegan, because it's an alternative to a meat or a protein option, right? Because it's meaty, you know. So we can do lion's mane steak. I mean, it's so many different. That's the thing about food. There's no rules, right? Like there's food, you can do anything with food. And that's why I love cooking and creating, because there's no rules, there's no boundaries. There's techniques, there's fundamentals. It's like, okay, maybe you should prepare this type of thing this way, but there's really you can't tell me I can or can't do this. So with the lion's mane mushrooms, you know, we can do teriyaki, we can do jerk, we can go anywhere with it.
And it'll still mimic the texture.
Absolutely, because ideally what we're trying to do is it's all about the integrity of the food. Okay. Right? We don't want to sacrifice the integrity of the food just for the sake of making something or saying, hey, we're just doing this or we're just doing that. No, it has to make sense.
Right.
And still hold the nutritional value that it needs to hold and make sense.
So before we talk about the future of food, I want to go back in the past a little bit, man. I remember if Ferdinand and Tetaun flashed that photo back in the day, and if you look at this guy back in the day.
Oh,
that guy.
That guy was a knucklehead.
Let me tell you about that guy.
Actually, let me real quick. Let me just say this real quick. The reason why my lip is like that is a knucklehead story. The reason why I'm smiling like that. There's a reason behind that. But go ahead.
I know the story. But I wanted to go back in time, man, because to something we were talking about earlier, where sometimes we say we want to do things, we want to be things, and we have these dreams and aspirations, but to actually see and experience, you know, your dream, the conversations out on the port quarter, outside on the back end of the ship, you know, when everybody out there taking the smoke breaks and hanging out, you know, we would have conversations. And so I remember this moment, and I see this in two different areas where this is the transition from, you know, being deployed. You led a whole department to achieve their ESWAS pins. And that to me was extraordinary, because a lot of us weren't interested in getting that pin. Right. And so in that moment, as I was no longer part of that department, I was still proud to share this moment. And then how that leadership, again, you were able to replace the things that I was doing in the office, and then start an organization for E3 and E4s. Well, I don't know, the E4 Association that's still going on right now on board the USS Blue Ridge, brother. So I want to give you your flowers, because this is the beginning. This is before the chef. Yeah, this is before You understand what I'm saying? You know, when you talk about leading by example, regardless, you know, we are imperfect people. We make mistakes. We go through all kinds of up and downs in life.
Right.
And so it's an honor to sit across from this internet, you know, my brother here who served as well. Shout out to the U.S. Army for a little bit.
Yes, sir. But salute, my guy.
It's an honor. It's an honor to see your journey, man. And I think you need to get out here and share more of what you have overcame and what you've been able to build and sustain, even for your children and for your family, man. So I'm godly proud of you, brother.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You know, it's been a journey for sure. Like I said, it wasn't easy, you know, but it was definitely something that I aspired to do. I knew in my heart, like, that's what I wanted to be. Nobody could tell me different. Like, I want to be a chef, bro. Like, that's what I want to do, you know. And I've worked in the hotels, the golf and yacht clubs, the country clubs. I've done it all.
Speaking of that, let's go back to 2010 when there was a video. A good colleague of mine, one of the news reporters, they wanted a good interest story, Ferdinand. They wanted a story, something that was going to connect the community together. And I just want you to go. I want to take you back. I know you ain't seen the video, but I want to take you back to 2010, my friend.
Wow.
2010.
Wow. I can't. That was a time, man. Like, even you being a part of that.
Well, you got to see it. You ain't seen it in a long time. I gotta. It's gonna bless you when you see it. Not that guy, my good friend Ken.
I think that's it, man. Let me see. Wow.
Right here.
Impact TV.
Right here, Crocs.
Wow.
So this was a show that we were doing together. Wow, some years ago, 2010.
2010.
And that was Tina Vick, Congressman. Oh man. Oh wow. Okay.
You look good, Dad. That look good.
And so we went outside to Ferdinand. We went to a restaurant, and Jesse was a hired chef for the day. And we had been talking, and I said, like I said, of course, they wanted a news story or some kind of package, something really cool that we can put online. And we went over to Crocs, where he first got his start.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's
crazy. That's my dude, Greg. I remember that. Look, I ain't had no beard or nothing. Wow.
Man, and so
and that particular organization there, they were, you know, very focused on SOL, sustainable, organic, and local product, which was really, you know, a dope movement for me, you know, especially introducing myself into that scene and just being a part of that, because even I think up until this day, they still have a farmer's market that's there in that parking lot. The Old Beach Farmers Market is held there in that parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take you back to the past, and I'm gonna hand it over to Ferdinand so he could talk about let's dig into some thoughts on the future of food and business, and where you trying to take your business into the future.
Okay.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, Tetaun, because I am interested. You know, we've got a lot going on in the country when it comes down to food and how it's affecting people.
Yeah.
And you know, I see a certain type of way that we could move, and I also see ways that we are moving, right? But I do wonder, what are your thoughts on how you're going to move your food business into the future?
Again, I try to, as much as I can, I try to use local, sustainable, and organic products for most and all of my events and anything that I do, because it's too easy here. I mean, I have a couple farms up the street this way, and then, like I said, with all the local farmers markets and whatnot, I think it's a matter of like guidance, right? Like, you know, just like with my daughter and my kids, you know, I try to not push it on them, but hey, why don't you let's eat this, let's eat that, or it starts at home. It's like, what do you bring into the house, right? So it's like if you bring the chips and the cookies and all that into the house, then that's what's gonna get ate, right? That's what they're gonna indulge in. But if you bring the other stuff into the house, the organic and the fruits and the vegetables and this, that, and the third, then that's what's gonna get consumed. So I just think it's just a matter of how you put it all in place, you know. It's a home thing. I think, you know, it's a home thing.
I
You
agree with you
know,
100%. It's definitely a home thing.
it's a home thing.
Yeah.
You know,
You were saying a little bit about that you travel with
I
different
do.
individuals.
I
Can you tell us a little
um,
bit what that's like? You know, what kind of fulfillment do you get from that?
it's very fulfilling, man. It's just, I mean, I've done private jets. I've done some yacht chefing. I've been on yachts. You know,
Okay. Okay. The Love Boat.
the Love Boat. You know, that's cool. Like I said, I try to provide my service anywhere. You know, I've been in North Carolina, I've been in South Carolina, I've been in Atlanta,
Yeah.
I've been in New York. You know, wherever I can provide service, I'm there, and that's there again part of the whole traveling man moniker. I'm a traveling chef.
Now I know that you had and I don't want to forget what you're doing now. There's a cooking show that you have online that you have been participating in a few years ago, and we'd love to get a glimpse of that before we lose you in this conversation. We're to see what you're doing with this Japanese cuisine food that you cooked up some years ago.
Okay. So, as far are you asking me, or are you about to pull that up, or
Well, I was waiting for Ferdinand. I was letting him know. Let's not forget to pull that in to tie that into what he's doing now.
All right, let's.
This boy, look at him. There
Oh,
you
there
go.
you go. That's always, I think, you know, the Japanese cuisine. I'm always going to be a little biased toward Japanese cuisine because I lived there for so long.
Okay.
I love how they take pride in what they do. Like there's nothing like Japanese cuisine to me. Just they it's different. It's hard
Oh,
to
it's
explain. It's
it's hard
so
to explain, right?
different. It's just you really respect what they got going on over there. You know what I'm saying? They respect it. They respect the food. Like they respect the food. They respect the consumer. They respect the fundamental and the technique that it takes to prepare a dish. You know, it's not taken for granted. It's looked at as true art.
I see.
It's looked at as true art. And when it's looked at like that, it comes out in the food.
So what you
You can
cook?
taste it.
What you got up cooking up here? What do we got here? Preparing.
There, I'm doing a little bit of shumai, which is like a Japanese dumpling, which you can have any type of filling in it. It could be pork, it could be shrimp, it could be scallops. You know, shumai is basically a nice little dumpling that you steam with a bamboo steamer. It's a steamed dish, you know. And I also prepared one of my most, I'm not gonna say famous dishes, but one of the most liked dishes that I prepare for most of my catering events is blackened salmon.
Okay.
You know, and I do like a little cream sauce with that, and it's just, you know, and also of course the beef bowl. You know,
Oh,
I did the beef bowl. So
oh,
on that
the
particular
infamous,
show,
the
I did
infamous.
the beef bowl, the shumai, and the
Yeah.
salmon. The beef bowl is just what we would do at night after we indulge in what we indulged in, right? It was
It sounds
Taco
like
Bell. It was Taco
sound like
Bell
a
for
swole.
us. It is like a swole, right? Right? It is kind
The
of
Bebo?
because you can add egg and you can add this and that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we
yeah.
always
I
just
forget
kept
about
it
that.
simple.
Yeah, I
But there's a
forgot.
lot of things that you can add to it, so it can
Right.
become a swole easily. You feel
Okay.
me? But it was what we indulged in at night, like
Uh,
with around here in the States would be Taco Bell. That was for us. Like on the West Coast, you know, there might be a Yoshinoya, I believe in California. in
Yeah.
Hawaii, right?
San Diego.
San Diego, there's a Yoshinoya, right? So
Right.
Yoshinoya was the joint. That was the beef bowl. That's the beef bowl joint. It's just rice and beef. It's like bulgogi, but not really. It's different because it's Japanese. You understand? You know what I'm saying? It's different.
Here we go.
So the flavor profile is different. So I tell
Flavor
people
profile different.
that beef bowl is something different. I got people asking me on Instagram right now, like, when you gonna run beef bowl again?
Will you be able to package it?
It's got a certain flavor to it.
Would you be able to package the ingredients and ship it off?
Well, it's that I could absolutely. I ship food. I get dry ice. I do ship meal prep. I've shipped meal prep as far as Texas. Actually, I don't go to the West Coast. I do the East Coast.
Okay.
And some of the southern states, because that next day delivery actually turns into 48 hours. But I do ship food. Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, because the dry ice lasts about 24 to 36 hours. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So it works. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. That was big for me for a while, but
man, I'm, like I said, man, I'm really proud of you, brother, man. You have really done some amazing things. I know there's a lot more meat to your story, a lot more things that we can unpack. You know, when we talk about fatherhood, when we talk about leadership and business, you know, and then being able to build that journey quietly.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So can you talk to us a little bit about that journey of building this business and some of the trials and some of the challenges that you had to get through? Because sometimes, you know, there's a generation out there down the hall thinks it's supposed to happen with the click of a mouse.
Well, I see a lot of people that think and see what I do and they think it's easy. For one, it's not easy. If you don't have a true passion for what you're doing, I don't even care if it's this. Like, if you don't have a passion behind your drive, you're doing it for nothing. And you're not going to be able to accomplish that if you don't have that passion. So you have to figure out, like, is this what I really want to do? Because this is not a game for me. This is my livelihood. This is how I live. But I see a lot of people think, you know, let me retire. And since I can cook, I'm going to start catering. It don't work like that.
No, sir.
And a lot of people don't understand. I'm not even from Virginia. And that's why some of what I do doesn't resonate with a lot of people from Virginia, because I'm not from here.
Now that's interesting. Breaking into coming from one city or one community and having to reestablish yourself in a foreign land. Tell me about that journey, sir, because I know that had to be one quite.
It was rough. I had to break down walls. I had to break barriers. I had to be like, hey, I'm out here. This is what I do. And, you know, like I said, I was here for 7 years and went to Jacksonville for 6 and then came back for 7. And before I was working, I was in the field. I was in restaurants here. Then I left and then I came back and started my own business. And so a lot of people thought I just popped up, but I didn't. I was already here. I had already been in the field. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I was already in the field.
Yeah.
So when I left and came back, I'm like, oh, well, I didn't already peep the scene. I'm about to do it like this. And that's what I did. I'm from Ohio. I'm from Akron, Ohio. You feel me? And so when I came out here and started doing my thing, I wasn't trying to step on nobody's toes or nothing, because you got, when I drive down the street, you got Chick-fil-A, Arby's, McDonald's, Burger King. They all on the same street.
Right.
They run right across from each other.
They got options.
So everybody's eating. Everybody's can eat.
Right.
So why be mad at me? I just came out here. I just do what I do. But a lot of people don't understand. I really come from restaurants. Like, I was in restaurants for 14 years. I did the line cook. I did the sous chef. I did the garde manger. I did the fry cook. I did the pass. I did the boom, boom, boom. So I have that experience, but a lot of these folks out here don't. They don't have that restaurant experience. And that kind of deciphers, and you can kind of tell who's polished and who's not polished. who comes from what and who doesn't come from what.
Right. I remember attending. I think you had an event. I think it was in Chesapeake or Norfolk some years ago. There was what was it?
Might have been a brunch.
No, it was a grits.
Oh, the shrimp and grit contest.
Shrimp and grits contest. Mm-hmm. And it was a small venue, but to your point, what you were saying earlier, your dish and the dishes that you had prepared for the competition was so far unique and different because
it's so different. I had purple grits.
Had purple grits.
And they were like, what? This boy got so different. I had purple grits, bro. You feel me? Like it was like I'm always
right.
And I have to tone
and it was ingenious. It was ingenious. You had to see it.
I had to tone it down here in Virginia because I can't really do what I want to do because we're not a food mecca here. Mm-hmm. Like Virginia, unfortunately, is hamburger, hot dogs, pizza, fried. Like that's just what they want. That's what they want, man. That's just what they want, bro. Like I can't. It is what it is. That's what they want. You feel me? That's what they want. But I'm ready to do something different, but I can't. Yeah. So I have to adjust and adapt to what I have to do. You feel me? And that's what I've done. And I made a name for myself doing that. You know what I'm saying? Most of my clients want the same thing for every event. You know, the blackened salmon, the honey lemon pepper Cajun chicken, the cornbread crab cakes,
and those are on your menu repetitively, right?
Repetitively.
And so your website, if somebody want to book an opportunity to, have a catering service, maybe have some of their favorite dishes cooked up, private events, how would they get in contact with you? How would they link with you?
You can link with me definitely via the website, www.travelingmgc.com. Okay. Or even on Instagram and Facebook, Chef Jesse TMGC.
Okay.
I'm multifaceted. I can be reached. However, you can DM me, you can private message me. However, I'm going to respond. Give me 24 hours. I ask just that, and I get right back to you, and we can, put it together.
Well, man, I really appreciate it, man. Again, I know we had some Blue Ridge friends on the page chiming in. Big Thompson was on there.
Oh, Uncle Duke, that's Uncle Duke. What up,
Duke on there?
What's up? What?
And
that's my dude, man. That was my guy. I remember.
So I got a story. We got a story with Duke when we was in what were we at? Bali. He had just got to the ship. Him and Clark.
Okay.
Yeah.
They came together.
They came together, right? And so I was the duty master arms on the deck.
Because I know this story. I know that's the funny part about this. I know where he's going, right? Go ahead.
Hey, listen, it was crazy, man, because you got these two young cats, and all I can remember is seeing myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be late. I don't want my ID card taken. I don't want my liberty taken from me. And, in that moment, I was just like, wow, okay. And so although I played the hard card and, you know how we had to do a little military, it was an opportunity to say, okay, bro, here's your card. Let him slide because somebody did it for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That was
of course.
That was that kind of thing that we had.
We always looked out for each other.
You know what I'm saying?
That was one thing we was going to do. Even if we didn't necessarily have to be getting along with whoever, we were brothers. Like
shout out to Lil Cali.
Sailors. You feel me? Lil Cali, Crazy. That's my dude. Yeah, we can do this for days, for hours.
Yeah.
Just going back, reminiscing about, some of the stories and the times and just some of the brother. It was really the fellowship and the brotherhood and the camaraderie that we had that made it what it was. You know what I mean? Like those are some times we can't take back. Yeah. Like nobody can replace that. Like we were like, like that was, like that was family. That's who you woke up with. That's who you went to sleep with. Yeah. That's who you did all your shit with. Like these are our brothers, bro. Like, and people have to understand that camaraderie. That'll never go away. I might not talk to some of them. I might not talk to y'all all the time or whatever, but like, that was something we never can, you know.
It's
That's
not.
it's crazy.
It's not as exciting as the Army stories or combat camera, but we had
I
some
don't
crazy,
know. I don't know about that.
we had some crazy times in Brisbane, Australia, when I almost missed ship's movement.
Yo, you. Hey, listen, you got your blazer on, but whatever. My dude, you know,
Man.
we had some times, bro.
Well, man, I just appreciate this moment. I know we're pressed for time, man, but thank you for sharing your craft,
absolutely, hey,
sharing
your
experience, your career, you know, and just relaxing with us, man, and kicking back in the kitchen, man, and just talking about life. Being a father, man, you have a baby girl. How's baby girl now? She's about 10?
No, 13.
13. Oh,
eighth grade. Yeah, 8th grade. Yeah, she hit me with the sneakers. She had sent me a text earlier with the sneakers, like, "Hey,
oh yeah,
these are sneakers I need." I'm like, "Damn, did you do them dishes?" But I got you. I'm gonna get them because you know why? I can't let nobody else get them, so I got them.
That's right.
I got them. She got them. I kind of want them myself, but I can't pay that twice.
Yeah,
so I was like, all right, I got you.
Well, shout outs to you, man, and the traveling man, and your cuisine and all your great cookings adventures, man. We're gonna keep following you on social media. Keep looking at your Instagram. We're gonna stay in touch, man. I think that this is a great accomplishment, a great conversation, and a great way to catch up. And
man. And my man, front of that, me and you gonna talk. Don't even worry about dude. That's my dude, but we gonna talk though, because we in Newport News. We up the street. We gonna holler.
That's right. That's right.
You feel me? I love y'all, bro. Like, I appreciate y'all for having me, for real.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
And as we always do, last words, Mr. Ferdinand. He has a teachable moment. There we go.
Well, you know, when I think about the future of food and business, I'm looking at independence growing.
I'm
looking at more people growing gardens.
Right.
Looking at more people going to farmers markets.
Right.
I'm looking at more people having a direct line to fishermen.
Okay.
Having a direct line to hunters.
Okay.
You know, I'm seeing more people empowered in these spaces of getting food and how food is moved within commerce. Okay. I can easily see new grocery stores coming to light in the years to come. I can see chefs, you know, who are doing amazing things to bring us food that is going to help us rebuild ourselves.
Right.
Help us to become whole.
Right.
So I see a bright future through a lot of smoke, through a lot of haze, but there's a bright day coming in food and business.
Okay. All right. That sounds good, man. You brought chills in my spine, man. That's a sound bite from Alfred Hitchcock. You know, I got you. You sound so deep and mysterious. I believe you. Matter of fact, I see it. Look, I start seeing it in the air. There it go. Man, it's always inspirational. It's always fun, and it's always inspiring to sit amongst family. And when I say that with confidence. You know, this tree of brotherhood. And when I've always, you know, you always have your moments, right? When you look around and, you know, of course we know who we are and sometimes we know what we need to be doing, but it's always good to have your brethren, people that you have journeyed with along the way. But also as you grew and they grew, we grew together as a community of brethren. And so offline, the brother and I were talking and we both shared similar sentiments about really getting to a place of really understanding what it is to be a man and to experience fatherhood. You know, we thought we were men, we thought we were fathers, and we were well accomplished along our way in our military careers. We're doing some great things, but life took its course. Things happen, but at the end of the day, there's always a unique thing that inspires me, and there's three things that identify who we are. Men that will create, continuously create. because we have to keep creating. Two Brothers in the Idea, or creating thought, being thought challengers, people that will have ideas that will carry the next generation, but also being able to take what you've created and build legacy, build an extension of yourself, be able to build from those places, those dark places where you needed to heal. And now you're able to take all that rubbish and regroup, right? And then finally, to be able to sustain that strength, that order, right? That the desire to be great, but not so much to be great of someone else, but to be great for your children, be great for your family, be good for yourself. So it's always encouraging, man, to look in the mirror and you see brothers, man, that you serve with. And I salute all my good brothers. There's many brothers and sisters out there that Ferdinand and I have met, have crossed paths with, that 6 degree of separation, whatever that means. And so again, brother, thank you, Ferdinand, for this platform, sir. And, I really enjoy these conversations, man. Two brothers in the idea. Sometimes we agree. Sometimes we'll say, okay, well, I'll hit you back later. We'll talk about it another time. You know what I mean? But you've always been a gentleman. You've always been a class act, brother. And, I'm looking forward for greater things to happen in the near future. So salute to you and all your listeners and followers, follow, and share, man. You got to do better at that. You have to do better at this.
I appreciate those kind words.
You got to do better.
I think what you said prior to the humor was very, very profound. Very profound. I think what I'll leave everybody with is what I hammer all the time. I love every person out there to have the armor of God around them in these days that are to come that are uncertain. And for you to achieve that armor of God, you don't need to go buy Teflon. You don't need to go and buy Smith & Wesson. You don't need 5.56 or 9mm. What you need is maturity, accountability, responsibility, humility, and sacrifice at the spirit, mental, and physical levels. And this will be the goat's blood over the door as Pharaoh's curse comes down the pipeline. But in the meantime, while you're working on that, expose your gift.